Number 11 wants us to divide again. Dividing two polynomials requires long division. So then 1 on the bottom will go on the outside, x squared plus 1. And on the inside, x to the 4th plus 5x squared plus 6. X squared goes into x to the 4th, x squared times. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. And x squared times 1 is x squared. We then subtract all the way through. And 5 minus 1 gives us 4x squared plus 6. X squared goes into 4x squared 4 times. 4 times x squared is 4x squared. 4 times 1 is 4. And once again we'll subtract. And 6 minus 4 is 2. So our answer is x squared plus 4 plus 2 over x squared plus 1. Number 12 wants us to factor. So anytime we're factoring, the first step would be to figure out what they have in common. 40, 80, and 56 have an 8 in common, so we'll factor that out. They also all have an x, and we'll look at the lowest exponent on the x, which is 3. The lowest exponent on the y is 4. Removing the 8 from 40 leaves us with 5. We've removed 3 of the x's, so we're left with 4 of those, and 4 of the y's, so we're left with 5 of those. Removing the 8 from the 80 leaves us with negative 10. We're left with 2 x's and 2 y's. Removing 8 from 56 leaves us with 7, and here we remove all the x's and the y's. So now we have factored. Number 13 wants us to factor again. This time, you'll notice that they all have a 2 in common. This leaves me with x cubed minus 3x squared minus 3x plus 9. From here, I want to look at factoring by grouping, since I have 4 different terms. The first 2 have an x squared in common, and I'm left with x minus 3. The second 2, I'm going to pull out a negative 3. That leaves me with x, since I've removed a negative sign, minus 3. They now both have an x minus 3 in common, so I'll factor that out, and I'm left with x squared minus 3. Number 14 is another factoring, and the first step should always be, what do they have in common? These have a 3 in common. This leaves me with 49x squared plus 14x plus 1. Anytime you're factoring a trinomial, the first thing we should look at are the first and the last terms. And you can see that they're perfect squares. 7 squared is 49, and 1 squared is 1. Since 7 times 1 times 2 is 14, this is going to factor into 7x plus 1 squared. Number 15. So first we should figure out what they have in common, which in this case is a 7. This leaves me with 125 x cubed plus 27. And here we'll notice that 125 is a perfect cube and 27 is a perfect cube. So in general, when you have a cubed plus b cubed, we factor this as a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. So here, a would be 5x, and b is 3. So 5x plus 3. 25x squared minus 5 times 3 is 15x plus 3 squared, which is 9.